We're talking about transmissions today. In front of me I have this lean adapter. This adapts a T50 bell housing up to a J160. That's a 6-speed out of a Toyota Altezza. I am rebuilding a customer J160 with this adapter, and this is going into a Corolla hatchback, but not just a regular Corolla hatchback, the infamous black Hasselgren powered Corolla hatchback, which now has a turbo strap to it. So yeah, we'll go over some of the parts and what I found during this rebuild, including the differences between a S15, Altezza, and Mazda RX8 transmission. All right, so the famous lean adapter. Again, 4AG to J160 from a Toyota Altezza. Some of you guys are probably old enough to remember that the CBY adapter, which was a bell housing that was cut in half, and then a 4A bell housing, and then the Altezza ass half bell housing welded together. I would say the next evolution of that is this lean adapter, so why don't we take a look at this guy. So yeah, it's been a really long time. This is actually a pretty old adapter now. And see, lean, this company is actually out of business. I think he's still trying to sell the CAD file for this adapter. OST Dan, I don't know if he had a part in this, but he must have, because his logo's engraved into this thing, or I should say machined into this thing. So kind of showing you guys how this thing is constructed. So the input comes out of there, countershaft comes out of there, 2 C-clips to retain it, just like any J160. The interesting part of this thing, so we have this top cover that basically seals the oil out. And then yeah, you guys, this is probably pretty familiar, like the back half of that front cover. An input seal goes in right there. Then this will bolt together like that. And then the T50 bell housing bolts to the front of this guy. All right, so let's talk about some interesting things on this guy. I think someone on Facebook mentioned that we may be the only shop in the US that has experience with both the impulse adapter and the lean adapter. Some interesting things. A lot of these bolt holes have helicoils in them, which is kind of odd for me. Why wouldn't you just drill and tap this guy for the correct size? You know, in my mind, a helicoil is actually a repair, not actually part of the manufacturing process, but someone can probably correct me. I mentioned that because this helicoil actually galled up and pulled out on me when I was taking that bell housing bolt out. So I actually had to repair the threads and put in a brand new M10 by 1.5 helicoil in that one. Let's flip over to the back of this guy. And yeah, if you guys have seen my impulse video, and I'll link that below, very similar, and an extensive amount of machining and measurements. I don't even want to imagine how much research it took to, you know, get this made, right? Some really cool stuff, like OEM locating pins here and here. Again, it's kind of odd, like a lot of these have helicoils in them instead of just being, you know, tapped and machined or tapped to the correct thread pitch. Again, some differences with the impulse kit. The impulse kit actually has 2 cage ball bearings in here for the shifter rails like OEM, and then one of these is like a brass bushing. It's been a while since I've had a J160 bell housing off, but I know for a fact the TL70, it's 3 ball bearings, cage ball bearings for the shift rails. Yeah, we'll just get a better look at this guy. Amazing piece. I can't believe, you know, one block of aluminum, and then all like the brain power that went into this. I know SQ Sam had a bunch of questions for me in comments on my impulse video. Yeah, if I can't do better, I am absolutely not going to critique you. So I can only make observations. You know, I have no right to, you know, we've probably all heard is like, if you can do better, go ahead and do it, man. I'm definitely not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So yeah, kudos to you, Mr. Lean. I just thought, I don't know how much the owner wants to be on social, but I'll link a article on that car in the description below. But I got a countershaft in front of me for the J160. Why don't we talk about the infamous C-clip? So what is the C-clip on this guy? So imagine 4th gear goes on here, and if we look at that slot right there, That's where the Cclip goes. And this is the Cclip. So what happens is fourth goes on, there's an inner race. The Cclip goes like that on both sides. The function of the Cclip is to control the end play of fourth gear. And so why is this important? So I'll link another description below on the Cclip mod. What happens with the Cclips is that either in like a high horsepower application or the transmission wasn't built right. I've definitely had that from the factory. The fourth gear end play is too much, and what happens is it keeps moving like that excessively back and forth. And I believe these are the teeth for reverse gear. And what happens is these reverse gear teeth chip. In the end, when these break off enough, you get a almost complete transmission failure from the fourth gear, like not only destroying these teeth, but now doing this. So yeah, really common in high horsepower applications, the Cclip failure. What is the Cclip mod? Well, if you guys are too lazy to read that article, you can see this groove right here. It's not all the way into the teeth. What the Cclip mod does is that it machines this groove far deeper, I want to say all the way to the end of the shaft, and you put in some much thicker Cclips in there so that you get like full engagement in there. And this has been really successful in like high horsepower S15 application. Yeah, I've dealt with one transmission with the Cclip mod. Very effective, also very expensive, and then who the hell are you gonna find to do it, right? Plus after that you have to find someone to get these special heat treated Cclips custom made for you. As you can see, it's not that easy because there's even a slot cut in here. There's actually if you can imagine, these two go together. This goes over both these guys and goes inside that groove, and then one more to secure everybody together. So again, these are select fit. What does that mean? These come in multiple different thicknesses to control the amount of end play, because every transmission is going to be different. I'm actually putting a brand new fourth gear on this guy, which means the end play is going to be different, so I need different Cclip. I'm using a lot of Mazda USA parts for this rebuild because the RX8 6-speed is rumored to be very similar to the, if not the same as the AZ6, which is the general transmission code for the S15 6-speed, the J160, and then also the 6-speed in the RX8. So the Mazda version of the Cclips are actually, for the most part, discontinued. So what did I do? Subaru USA to the rescue. I can rarely say that, but today I can. So I've built a lot of J160s, which is the 6-speed that comes in a FRS, BRZ, blah, blah, blah. And comparing the Cclips, they're exactly the same. Going through the service manual, looking at the select thicknesses, they're exactly the same. So what does that mean? I believe this is a 3.95 thickness. So the owner of this trans wants as little downtime as possible. So I got one size up and one size down of 3.95. And these are actually meant for a TL70, but again, the exact same Cclip. I guess I should have mentioned ahead of time that the TL70 has the same Cclip design and same Cclip problem as the rest of the AZ6 lineup. All right, so some other parts similarities. This is a Toyota J160 output seal, direct from Japan. And then I got two aftermarket seals, actually for a Toyota W58, exactly the same. The Mazda RX8 seal is very fancy, looks great. It actually won't fit in a J160. So yeah, no need to be like me and get the Japanese variant. Just go to your local parts store or your Toyota dealer, get one of these output seals for a W58. All right, again, Mazda input seal for a Mazda 6-speed, same exact seal. All right, 3/4 shift sleeve. All right, so the shift sleeve is this guy, and really simple. It selects what gear you want to go into. And yeah, this is the exact 3/4 shift sleeve right here. We replaced this guy with a brand new unit, and hopefully you guys can see that why did we replace this? These engagement teeth, or dog teeth, get worn out. These are supposed to be essentially a perfect triangle, and yeah, these guys have a ton of wear on them. So this is the J160 3/4. I have a S15 3/4, and I already installed the Mazda 3/4 on the countershaft already. So in short, the Mazda unit's exactly the same. I found out by surprise the S15 3.4 actually has a few interesting differences. So if you look at it, it looks like it'll actually go on. Really similar, right? Except maybe those lines. The other difference, if you notice, you can see like the teeth poking through the end of this, whereas like this has more of a ridge. It's gonna be hard to see on camera too, but these teeth are offset one way, so like one way's shorter and then one way's longer, whereas on this S15, you can see that the teeth are, you know, more closely the shape of a triangle. So I had both versions. I ended up using the Mazda version, which was the same as this, and here's why. This may be the latest iteration. I've seen this in T50s where like there's slight design changes. I mean, just look at this guy, how it's like flat right there. And then if we look at the S15 unit, you can see there's these two little cuts right there. Yeah, there was enough differences with this that I did not want to test it out on a customer trans. So yeah, S15, I confirmed the part number. This is the 3rd gear Synchro. So we'll take a look at this guy. If you notice, it's a 3-piece Synchro. Yeah, this should be 3rd gear. Yeah, a gray colored single piece Synchro. I don't know why they're gray. So again, it's that 3rd gear side that has the 3-piece Synchro on a S15, and then also has these teeth that are more shaped like an even triangle as opposed to like one side short, one side longer triangle on the J160 or Mazda 3.4 sleeve. So all this together, I'm not gonna take that kind of risk on a customer trans. So yeah, until next time, see if this S15 3.4 is an upgrade or not. And I'll talk about it later, but because that 3rd gear on a S15 seems to use a 3-piece Synchro as opposed to a single piece, that may actually be an upgrade, but you know, until next time. All right, so to this day I keep getting confused, but typically on a transmission, 4th 1-to-1 is the input shaft. On this family of 6 speeds, the input shaft is actually 5th gear. So again, Mazda synchronizer, 5th and 6th both use the same synchronizer, and then these synchronizers are the same as the Mazda counterparts. 4th gear, again, I'm waiting for the one from Japan. I ordered a Mazda 4th gear. It's going to be the same. And then likewise, 4th gear Synchro is unique to this. Or I should say 4th gear Synchro doesn't share a Synchro with any other one in the trans. But yeah, J160 and Mazda, this 4th gear Synchro is the exact same piece. I got all the 5th gear or input stuff tied up together, but yeah, this pocket needle bearing, which goes inside right there of the input shaft. Again, J160 and Mazda, this is the same unit. Also, on a W58, this is the exact same pocket needle bearing too. I've used aftermarket ones in the past. This Mazda OEM one that I just recently purchased looks, you know, much higher quality. So, and this thing wasn't that much money. It was like less than 20 bucks. So next time, OEM always. So this bearing right here, the input bearing is actually the same bearing as the rear output shaft bearing. J160 Mazda, these are both the same part, or I should say they're both compatible. And then I found it was interesting, this echoes the W58 where the input shaft bearing and the rear output bearing are also the same. So yeah, here's a complete output shaft assembled. Same bearing. Make sure you press it on the right way because this the Cclip holds it into the case, and same thing, this front-facing Cclip holds it to, you know, the case or the bell housing. All right, so here's something interesting. The 1st, 2nd Synchro. 1st and 2nd gear take a multi-piece, a 3-piece Synchro. They both have a different part number for the J160. Mazda has a different part number. Although they look identical, there's actually a different part number for the 1st gear and 2nd gear Synchro. So here's some stuff I found. So on the J160, these are the original ones. The one difference I found, take a look at those oil channels. If you notice those oil channels for first gear Synchro, yeah, take a look, much thinner or much more fine on second gear. But what does that also mean? Hopefully we can see it on camera that there's much more wear on these Synchro teeth on first gear. So obviously there's some physical differences in the inner Synchro ring design for first and second gear Synchro on a J160. The Mazda Synchros, which I already have installed in that trans, so I can't take them out, but I absolutely cannot find a difference. Looking at all three rings, I cannot find a difference. But two different part numbers, again, I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to put first where it goes, and I'm going to put second where it goes, but they look exactly identical. If we check out the S15 first or second Synchro, I wrote this a long time ago, but I re-looked at the electronic parts catalog, and same thing as on the Mazda 6-speed. There's a different first and second gear Synchro part number, and they're both very similar. I think it's like F01. Same thing on the Mazda. But yeah, let's take a look at this guy. So yeah, pretty much the same as the first and second what I got on ordering from Mazda USA. You can see the finer oil channels in this guy. But yeah, this was essentially identical. All right, so what does that mean for me? I have a hypothesis that those are updated Synchros with thinner oil channels, and similar, there's much less surface area to grip the gear cone and slow it down. And if you guys have followed me for a while, where else have we seen this? So this gear is from a TL70. I'm going to guess that this is fourth gear, or maybe, yeah, third. This is third gear out of a TL70 three-piece Synchro. If you guys have watched my transmission how-to series, you already know what the outcome of this. Super wide oil channel spacing on this guy. And can you guys guess what happens? Locked in, I can still turn this guy using a lot of freaking strength. Ugh. So yeah, this guy can go in the garbage. Or I should say this design can go in the garbage. So I imagine similarly with these wide cut oil channels on first gear, could not stop the first gear accurately when shifting into first. That's why there's this heavy, much heavier teeth wear as compared to the Synchros in the rest of the transmission, which probably meant they got updated. So first and second, although they have different part numbers for some reason, now they all have these much finer oil channels to better stop that gear when you shift. All right, so that was some of my observations and findings during this J160 rebuild. I'm sure there's a lot of questions and comments. Make sure to leave those in the description below. Remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you guys next time.